figured out yet after 1 week of practice here?
Yeah, I figured out we got a lot of work to do is what I figured out. Just a lot of new players, a lot of people, a lot of things you took granted for last couple of years because, you know, they've been in your system, you know, a couple of years that you don't realize. So, you know, we're really starting all over with a lot of new players, and we're having to break down more and take more time and all that. So I really don't see us having as much in start of the season as we normally do because, you know, I'm the type of person, if we're not doing it well, we're not going to keep adding. So we'll continue to work on what we're working till we start doing it well, and then we'll move forward.
So you had some concerns defensively?
Absolutely. We got to teach them that defense is important. You know, a lot of times when they come from their AAUs and their junior colleges, they may not stress defense as much as we stress defense. So it's just a matter of changing the mindset and understanding that if you don't play defense, you probably don't play here. And how important defense is to the things that we do. It creates opportunities at the other end offensively, and you know, when you're not scoring, you got to be able to shut down the other team, and so those are things we'll work on in practice.
Pleasant surprises in the first week?
Well, I'll tell you what, I thought yesterday was the first day I thought, well, we really got better. I thought yesterday we got better. I saw some improvements in areas that I hadn't seen for a while, and I felt the players felt more comfortable. But you know, everything's new to a lot of them, and when you start putting 2 or 3 in, even with the veterans, you know, when you only have 1 or 2 on the floor that knows what they're doing and the other 3 do not know what they're doing, it kind of, I don't care what you're running, it doesn't really look good, whether it be defensively or offensively. And the other thing is we need to value the basketball. We're throwing the ball all over the place. And spacing, I mean, I can go on and on and on, but that's why you practice. But they're giving us a good effort. They're going hard, and they're starting to understand what we want and what we don't want. So, like I said, yesterday I felt a lot better after practice. I thought we showed a lot of improvement.
Does Lene seem to be coming out here with maybe a greater sense of urgency, now knowing?
Yeah, I think so.
Gone?
Yeah, I think so. I think, you know, with Asia Bussey gone, we need somebody to step up that void. And, you know, she's coming out here and she's working hard every day. And Kayla Montgomery's working hard every day. And so, you know, we need them to fill that void that Asia Bussey left. And, you know, we don't expect them to be Asia Bussey, but we expect them to do the things we do and be a threat in the paint, but also be a defensive threat.
Looking back on it now, are you glad you got the opportunity to redshirt Tiana last year?
Well, yeah, because, you know, with all the seniors we had on the perimeter, you know, you lose 4 seniors on the perimeter. You know, Tiana probably would, you know, would not have got the playing time that she really needed. So, you know, with her being redshirt freshman, she understands a little bit more what we want. And one thing I will say about this team, we're very long. You know, we have a lot of length. We're long. We're athletic. We just got to take care of the ball better and use that athletic ability, you know, defensively.
Well, I remember in that Hunter Beach game last year, she could shoot the ball.
Yeah.
You liked her shot.
Yeah, without a doubt. You know, I look for people to try to take Bria Holmes, you know, out of our game plan, you know, naturally. So we're going to see some zones, we're going to see some boxing ones and all that, and that's where we need somebody else on the other wing that's able to hit that shot. And then if she's successful hitting that shot, and then they have to come up with new strategies. So we'll see. I think Linda Stepney is looking to score a little bit more. That's something we have went back and forth over 3 years, but I think she's being more aggressively with her shot, which is great to see. And Avery feels is doing a good job. Crystal Leary, you know, all our returners understand what we need to do, and we just got to get the new players understanding it.
Any update on Abigail's status?
No, she's not. She still haven't been cleared and all that. So we'll see where that goes.
Just come a certain time.
Yeah, we'll see where it goes on that. Yeah.
How about Jessica? Any change there?
No, she'll be sitting out half the season based on the NCAA rule. I think she continues to get better also. We were playing a little bit at the 1 and 2. I kind of just moved her. It's hard for a new player to come in here and learn 2 positions, let alone 1. So I kind of just moved her to the 2 position and tried to let her get comfortable with that position.
So when classes start in January?
Well, not necessarily as games. If we play 29 games, then half those games. So it's not necessary. I think there's 1 or 2 you got to sit out the second semester too, which is league games, which you don't like, but it is what it is.
Coach, when it comes to Bria, I guess, how deserving is she of a preseason award like this, and do you anticipate that kind of pushing her along this season?
I think so. I think it shows a lot of respect for Bria Holmes with the other coaches. It really does. But yet, it is a preseason. I've said all along, I hope it ends up being the postseason award, not the preseason award, because that means she had a heck of a year. But Bria Holmes is a great player, and teams are going to try to, set their defense around her. And she's going to have to be patient and take it when it's there. And her teammates going to have to, set her up some and set some good picks for her and those type of things. But with that being said, Bria Holmes is probably one of the most unselfish players I've ever had. But we need her to be a little bit more selfish this year because we got to find scoring somewhere.
When it comes to your out-of-conference schedule, we got the preseason NIT in Ohio State. Playing against some of the best women's teams in the Big 12, did you want to take it a little easier in the preseason?
Well, I'll let you know after the preseason, to be honest with you. You never know. You just never know. I know, Eastern Kentucky's who we open up with, and I know their coach, and they'll play extremely hard, and I'm sure she's been in the program now 5 or 6 years, so, they're established, and then if you would win that, you're probably going to play Seton Hall, which is, I've talked to a lot of coaches in the Big East, and they're as athletic as anybody in the Big East, and have a couple transfers that become eligible all of a sudden here. And so, we're going to have our hands full, and then naturally you go to Ohio State at Ohio State, which is not going to be an easy game. And, I don't take anybody for granted. With our non-conference schedule with 6 new players and, not a lot of veterans back, we got to take it each game. I'm worrying about the exhibition game, to be honest with you. That's the game I'm worried about against Willing Jesuit. So we got to look at that game first.
Does Kayla Montgomery have any kind of outside shot that she's shooting?
Actually, she's not a bad shooter. Her and Lene are not bad shooters around the elbows. So they have the green light for me. Now the other day, Lene was out a little bit farther from around the 3-point line. She took her shot. Now that she don't have that green light. She don't have that green light, but she's got a green light out from around the elbow and that type of stuff. And Kayla does too. So we need them to score. You have to have a scoring inside threat. And our new guards especially, got to learn how to feed the post a little bit better and spacing a little bit better. At times we get in there, we're right beside the post and throw it at her feet and expect her to catch it. So, it's all about spacing, timing, and that type of stuff.
You probably wouldn't have both of them.
No. But, when you got Avery and Crystal Leary that are veterans at the 4, you want to keep, you need your veterans on the floor too.